Hi, my name is Przemysław Jasielski. I'm a Polish artist, experimenter, and I'm one of the artists invited for SIAF2020. So for the exhibition, I was assigned to the space in historic building of Shirokan, previous or former Court of Appeal, and I was given 4 rooms to fill it with artworks. So I decided to design 3 new body of work, 3 new pieces, and also we decided to show 1 previous or existing work of art. The first one would be a piece titled Justice Control Unit, and this is a specially created work for the space, size specific, and it's dealing with justice in that way that it's a computer system which collects different legal regulation concerning digital world, like for instance regulations concerning data processing, internet freedom, digital censorship and similar in different countries. And the user which will come to the exhibition will have an interface in front of them. Then they will have a chance to look at these regulations. The computer will be choosing different regulations for them, and then they will have a chance to interact with it. And interaction takes a form in the process of sending protests to particular government bodies when you don't agree with the particular regulative problem. You will be able to send this protest during the specially designed interface, or you can send a traditional letter, and for this purpose there's this specific stamping machine which will be stamping each letter with different stamps, as in the traditional office situation. The machine will include a custom-built machine learning unit, which is totally hardware solution. It's not like similar software solutions of this kind. It's constructed out of discarded electronic components and servos and pods. So it's actually machine learning in its own literal sense. So this work incarnates a spirit of the building's former function, which is very present or perceivable in this architecture. This whole setup, this building it's really special, and once you enter it, you really have this sort of feeling of oppression. And this mechanism really shows this concentrated experience of bureaucracy. So it really reflects the situation which I found there. This particular project, it's a continuation of Control Unit series. I had previously made several of them, like for instance Earth Rotation Speed Control Unit, which is a huge machine to control the rotation of the whole planet, and according to physics theory it really works. Or for instance, in 2015 I made Emotions Control Unit, which is a machine with its own built-in emotion, and you can control and play with this machine as with the emotional being. With this project I get to the stage when most of the research necessary for it was done, and also large part of the machinery, like the stamping unit for instance, has been built. Actually I planned to finish this piece regardless it will be exhibited in the future or not. There are not particular plans, but I will definitely finish this project in the future. So the next project which are designed for the exhibition, it's titled Earthquake Control Unit, and this time it will be the Japanese version. It was previously realized some years ago in California, but this time it will be completely new body of work. And this piece, it's an interactive device producing small-scale earthquakes using sounds of the very low frequency with the recording of the actual seismic wave of the actual earthquake. So the viewers can come to the exhibition, experience this small earthquake which really shakes the place, and they can play with it, like make it louder or lower, or make it more present or less. So again, it's a device which allows you to play with something which normally is beyond any control. So for the viewer, the whole experience is a kind of paradox, because from one side it has a kind of a feeling of controlling something, but on the other side he or she is aware of the confrontation with catastrophic element which has enormous and untamed scale. So in the formal execution of this particular work, it careful designs refers to the fascination of Sashimono woodworking tradition, Japanese woodworking, and its proportions are based on canon of Japanese temples and other solutions designed of thousands of years of Japanese woodworking tradition. It will have very refined aesthetics which pays attention to the very object's materiality. So also this project was preceded by a very intensive and long research. I gathered really a large body of information about Japanese woodworking. I managed to meet with a local Sashimono woodworker in Sapporo and consult the project with him. He promised to help me with actual execution and actual work on the site. I also gathered some Japanese tools, some original tools like kana plane, for instance, and I'm also trying these techniques right here in the studio. The third project is titled Paper Prism. It's a completely new idea based on my experiences working with paper. And again, it's a site-specific work, this time expressed in design of the object. It's inspired by Shiryokan's interior, and so it invokes the ambience of the building. It was a former cult when people were actually judged with some sentences, so I decided to make like another step and make a prison there. This prison will be made entirely out of paper, and although it may seem that it's a very fragile material, in this case I want to make it a really rigid and hard to break prison saws made entirely out of paper, with paper doors, paper bars and a paper bed inside, so the viewers would have a chance to go inside, stay a while in their cell, maybe lie down on the prison bed, and after 5-10 minutes they will be allowed to their freedom. This works is a continuation of other series of works made entirely out of paper. And for example, once I made a paper bridge, which was perfectly usable bridge, made entirely out of paper, nothing else, no cheating. People could walk on it. Or I made a paper clock, which is a huge construction 7 meters wide, 3 meters high, and it was actually working clock. Again, with no cheating, no other material rules, no hidden electronics. It was just a clockwork mechanism working in the museum, made entirely out of paper. This project was stopped in the initial conceptual phase. I just managed to make some plans, renderings and drawings. No actual body of work was made. The last fourth artwork, which was designed to be shown at Shiryokan, it's an installation I made previously in 2019. It's called SelfEnlargement. And it consists of a small robot with attached microscope, which the viewers can navigate on a specific spot, which is covered on cutting mats and cardboard sheets I used to make some other artworks. So literally what you're observing, these are marks like this here on the table, enlarged to enormous size, about 400 times. And you have a direct look into the remainings of my activity. So by changing the scale from a big to micro, you can look at the notes and traces of my activity as a surface of a different landscape, some sort of alien planet reality. And the new level of interpretation immediately appears. In this case, I can give a glance at my creative process, which resists the usual tradition of displaying the final form of work of art. Although my art practice is based on inspiration with scientific methods and is based on analysis and research, it's also very open to all accidents which are happening on the way. So this project was realized previously, and we had a plan to exhibit it as it is. It's almost basically ready to go. We also plan to make it available online on the SIAF website and offer the viewers the possibility to actually navigate this robot and experience it themselves. My proposed concept were actually created in a very location when the exhibition should take place, and it was reaction to this environment and to the spaces. So naturally they are very rooted in the spirit and history of the place. Of Roots and Clouds make me think of living in a physical world also in a very practical sense. We often experience being lost in bureaucracy, helpless with natural disasters, confused with media, or imprisoned by our habits. And in our works, I just wanted to challenge these problems in a provocative and creative way, but it was all springing from the local ground. In fact, I had a chance to visit Sapporo twice last year. First time during the research trip in the summer, and second during the workshop in November 2019. I must say I found it quite different than other Japanese cities that I visited before, in a way that everybody was extremely nice, open, supportive and welcoming. You just have to remember, it's very easy to make friends in Sapporo. So in the last year, together with Rainer Prohaska, we conducted a workshop in Sapporo City Hall. This event was open and kind of a warm-up to the festival. Anybody could come. All the citizens of Sapporo were invited regardless of their background. They didn't have to be an artist, they could be any age. We had a really great time. I think this was very productive. Everybody was really open for instructions, cooperating really well, and the whole thing happened with great results. So for my part of the workshop, the participants were instructed how to make rigid constructions just out of paper with using only glue, with any other additional materials like wood or steel. And from these materials, during a week, we construct several very usable and rigid objects like a furniture, some chairs, some tables, and at the end it was all combined with Rainer's part, in which he built kind of a tea house. So we are confronted with the huge interest. A lot of people took a part in the workshop. I was totally amazed by their openness and engagement. I think it was really great fun, and was very productive in the same time. I hope people learned something. And you could see the results of this workshop exhibited for a while in the entrance of City Hall lobby. During my research, I had also a chance to meet a lot of local people, and I was completely taken by their hospitality and ability to talk to a stranger in a kind of relaxed manner, with a lot of friendliness and without any reserve. So everybody was also very helpful and also interested in what I'm doing there, what are my ideas, and what are the plans for the festival. The other fantastic experience I had in Sapporo was visit to the real onsen in the mountains. For those who don't know, it's a traditional bath which you can soak in the hot springs coming straight out of live volcano, and you soak in this cold water and the snow is falling on you at the same time. It's really unforgettable experience, and I had fantastic time there. Of course, pandemic affects my work on many levels. The basic thing was all the exhibition I was working on, and it was quite a few, was actually totally cancelled. It's very sad and tough experience. But at the same time, it gave me some space and openness for experimenting with ideas, which I would normally probably didn't do. It also gave me some time to work on other projects which lay aside a bit, like this robot, for instance. But probably the most important fact is that pandemic transformed our world in a completely unknown direction. It's not only that our world is rather different from what was happening several months ago, but also the direction of this change is unknown. So we are stepping into completely new reality. And my opinion is that we will have to react to this transformation in a creative way, react to this change all the time. And of course we'll have to live in this new work in a state of constant uncertainty. A few years ago I came with the idea of nonsense technologies, and this is kind of artistic concept which is based on an alternative approach to technology. It's looking at the technological progress from a different angle, kind of a constructive critique and also a funny way how to look at technological progress. So during this time, and based on this idea, I made a lot of different technical devices which are in a clear opposition to usual applications, to effectivity and productivity. It's not like only criticizing technology, saying that it's bad, but it's a kind of opposition to the blind fascination of technological gadgetry. During pandemic, the situation in which we are totally surrounded by technology is even more amplified, and it's even more oppressive. We are spending much more time online, and we are using technology to communicate to people. So I hope that this attitude of looking at technology from a different point of view will actually could cause some new reflection and also brings some relief to this situation. We can laugh it out a little bit and maybe take some constructive solutions. So thanks again for inviting me for the SIAF festival. It was anyway amazing experience and amazing time we spent on it. Of course it's a little bit sad situation that it's not happening actually, but maybe we could take some good out of it, and it will bring some results in the future. It was great to cooperate with curators and people from Sapporo. I had a really great time being there, and I wish you all luck, stand safe, and goodbye.